Legend has it that when this world was newly formed, it was a desolate wilderness, teeming with wild beasts. Then the very first human appeared, and his name was Renzu. He lived like a savage, struggling constantly just to survive. To make matters worse, a pack of beasts, known as predicaments, took a particular liking to his taste and sought to devour him. Renzu did not possess a body as resilient as rock, nor did he have the sharp claws and fangs of a beast. How could he possibly fight against these beasts called predicaments? With a highly unstable food supply, he spent his days running and hiding, stuck at the very bottom of nature's food chain. He was on the verge of losing the will to live. It was then that 3 goo worms approached him and said to Renzu, "As long as you sustain us with your life, we will help you through this crisis." With no other options left, Renzu had no choice but to agree. He first offered his youth to the largest of the 3 goo worms. In return, that goo granted him strength. Armed with this strength, Renzu's life began to improve. He secured a steady source of food and the means to protect himself. He grew aggressive and combative, defeating many predicaments. However, he soon learned a hard lesson. Ultimately, he realized that brute force wasn't everything. He also needed rest and recovery, and couldn't just squander it recklessly. Moreover, against an entire pack of predicaments, one man's strength was simply too insignificant. Reflecting deeply on his mistake, Renzu decided to dedicate his prime middle-aged years to the most beautiful of the 3 goo worms. Thus, the second goo bestowed wisdom upon him. With wisdom, Renzu learned to think, reflect, and accumulate experience. He discovered that intellect was often far more effective than brute force. By combining wisdom and strength, he conquered many challenges that were previously impossible, slaying even more predicaments. He ate their flesh and drank their blood, clinging tenaciously to life. But the good times didn't last. Renzu grew old, older and weaker by the day. This was because he had sacrificed his youth and prime years to the strength goo and wisdom goo. As an old man, his muscles withered, and his mind was no longer sharp. "Oh, human, what more can you offer us?" "You have nothing left to give us." Realizing this, the strength goo and wisdom goo heartlessly abandoned Renzu. Stripped of his strength and wisdom, he was spotted by the predicaments and quickly surrounded by the pack. He was too old to run, and having lost all his teeth, he couldn't even chew wild fruits or vegetables. He collapsed helplessly onto the ground, surrounded by a dense crowd of predicaments. In his heart, there was only utter despair.